All right, cyber traders, welcome on back. Feels good to be back myself this Friday, March 4th. Great to see Chuck, Norman, Mark live inside our live trading room here. So Michael, Johannes from earlier, Yehuda I saw as well, Kathleen, and all of our students and members alike rejoining us right now. I see Ron, Lori, Leda, loud and clear from all. Perfect, and great to see all of us once again on social media, Facebook Live or YouTube. I told you folks earlier in the week I had to take a few days off on a small business trip. I don't like even using the phrase business trip because it makes me sound way more important than I really am. But I had to do a bunch of things for CTU down there. I had mentioned some crypto related content. So I look forward to that once it comes out, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But Kathleen says, we missed you. Rich did a great job. Well, I appreciate that. And I know he did a great job. I talked to him over the last couple of days. I heard a bunch of us did really well on the INDO over the last couple of days, right? And of course, today, right? Right now, the MXC stock's on the screen, but INDO top percent gainer up 112% and perhaps counting still at this point. So, let's start with the stock on the screen to begin, but then as usual, just go right from top to bottom otherwise. I mean, hey, I don't even know where to start otherwise. So that's why I always say let's just start from the top, because on days like today where the market had dropped off at first, it led to some really good short opportunities. I know the EV stocks, the car manufacturers, EV manufacturers getting hit hard. So GM down big today. So NEO down big over 5% right now. But then on the flip side, it's like you got these INDOs, you have the MXCs out there. I saw Norman call out BCEL a moment ago. Man, they're all over, all these like low float runners. Now, again, though, you got to be careful on these trades. For as pretty of a chart as MXC is making for us here, this thing is going to come screaming back down at some point, whether it be later today, whether it be Monday next week, or maybe Monday afternoon. Just look at the stock back from even the beginning of last year. All these big volume days where it spiked up, it went gapping down the following days. So it's not really a swing trade, right? The thing, though, that can make this, such a great day trade for this afternoon, that's already made it such a great day trade for this afternoon. Got to double check just to make sure. But I'm pretty certain that MXC is at all-time highs, which the INDO I know is as well. So whenever there's a stock that's at new, all-time highs, there's no real historical resistance to work with, right? So that's what I'm just checking here pretty quickly. Let me just go to a monthly, I reckon. But not even all-time highs. Certainly multi-year highs, almost like it's a decade high, new decade high. You could even go so far as to say. Technically not an all-time high. I guess its all-time high was over $55 back sometime in like 2007. I'll shoot from the hip from and say. But yeah, right now with the way MXC is trending, we're going to just put this back on our watch list here for the close. Again, though, got to be really careful in terms of the order book. The spread is enormous right now, 25-cent spread, and that's pretty tight given what we've seen so far on this run up. So let's be really mindful of just how big the spread is. You can't go in using a market order. In terms of where to find a potential pullback level to where you could find potential support, I would say 20. Decade number, psychological number 20 you would go with, but don't leave an order hanging out there on the bid. Just in case if you're wrong. That's the definition of catching the falling knife. Do not catch the falling knife. For students like Ron and Alex and Chuck and Kathleen, Leda, the majority of us in this room that I especially do coaching with one-on-one, you folks know in terms of just, being selective out there, the exact entry that I look for when it breaks through the level on the way up, right? Just stay with that. But yeah, MXC will definitely put back on our watch list for the close. The INDO, of course, at the top here, technically, it break new all-time highs. This one actually broke all-time highs from the end of last week when we were in class, and then just really from the beginning of this week as well, continued to push up. Obviously, back from Wednesday heading into the afternoon, it took off from like 1350 all the way to 17. Popped yesterday morning, but then it pulled back a little bit. But then obviously now it's here today. I mean, it ended up topping off just a little bit underneath 50. It hit 49 to be exact. Again, though, just looking at the spread's huge for this stock, much like the MXC. So, just be mindful of the potential lower high it's making right now. With lower highs, we typically anticipate a lower low. So again, that's something to be mindful of. Let's see what could happen. And I would say let's see what could happen at 40 decade number, but that already held a couple of times here. I wouldn't keep expecting the same price level to hold over and over and over. So, if this breaks below 40, then who knows where the next big support is. Maybe it's all the way down to 35. So, hey, I'll put this on our list. We call it the CTU watch list, not the CTU. You must trade the stock list. I say that because although most of us realize that, we have a bunch of new students that join CTU that, might see a stock like this just on the watch list. Oh, no problem. I should just trade that stock then. Let me just jump in for the hell of it. You can't do that here, folks. You can't do that. That is straight up gambling, and that's not what we do. Going to Atlantic City 2 weeks from today on Friday, the 18th, and I'll be gambling there. I'm not here to gamble today. So for right now, INDO will put on our watch list alongside the MXC trade. Again, in case if they make a clear, decisive move that we feel a lot better of, that we could take advantage of, then we'll do that. But if not, we'll focus on some others. So INDO, MXC to start off with, and then otherwise we'll just keep it going from the top. VCEL is a much cheaper one, so I know the spreads are going to be great on that trade at least. Pushing back up, spiked up prior to 2 p.m. Eastern time. A lot of buying came in seemingly from there. Right now, though, making lower highs. So, maybe at 3 o'clock, 3:15, this can make a nice pop. So I'll put this on our list. Doesn't hurt us to put this B cell on our watch list. Actually, it only helps us because it's pretty close to the high still. So maybe there is one last chance to where it could break higher and make a nice run. All right, I'm going to try and avoid these cheapies here. Got a bunch of cheapies on the top of the gainers list. I got to be mindful of that myself. So let's see what else we got here. Nine energy stock, pretty cheap, but above $1. So, right now this thing has made a nice run from 150 up to 182. Pulled back, but this could be the point of support. So, alongside the B cell trade, no problem adding the 9 trade to our watch list here. No real iceberg order that I could see here in the meantime. Just trying to look for that too for you folks. All right, I know Uvxy had a huge day today. The warrants are up big. Warrants are pretty expensive given where the stock is right now. Stock's like $55 right now, even Uvxy, Uvxy. So we'll take a look at that in just a bit here too. Oh my God. All right. Let me talk to you folks about IMPP really quick here because, oftentimes when I do this meeting, I'll tell you that I'm in a trade and I am in a trade right now. I'll show that in just a bit. I actually have my stop set. So if it drops, I'll get stopped out. But little egg in my face here, folks. And I say this actually more to our folks inside the live trading room that saw my call out, that, we're watching the stock with us here live. We had a 484,000 share buy print, and that got filled at 10 o'clock Eastern time this morning. It wasn't the opening bell print. It was a legitimate 484,000 share buy print. The question that you have to ask is what happens if history could repeat itself? What happens if history repeats itself? What happens if this could break back above $2.40 at some point today? Whether it be right here where it tried to, it eked up nicely, but this wasn't really worth the move given how big of a print that we had filled there. And it was possible for it to pull back down and completely crash and burn from that point. So I really personally wasn't as followed, or I personally wasn't following the stock as much throughout the morning. My mind personally was more on the NEO trade. It was more on AMC. So I did well on those stocks, missed out on the initial move. Now, I was in a coaching session with one of our students just a moment ago earlier. And at the time, we were following this IMPP and, we took the trade, myself and Skip. And at first, things were doing good. It was up to $2.50. We're up like 9 cents on the trade. But for such a big print, I was thinking we were going to see more. I thought we would see a lot more than that. Well, we sure got a lot more, but unfortunately, I ended up setting my stop on this trade right under 240 because I was afraid of a head fake. I was afraid of this making an underwhelming move, which it did at first, and then for it to tank. Well, where I went wrong was the fact that I made my stop really tight. It took me out break even for -1. Call it break even, but -1. And then instantly later, it snapped back up and actually made the move that we were hoping for it to make at first. And, it's tough to be perfect on trades, folks, because if you're expecting this move to happen here or here or here, you're waiting a damn long time. That's not what we do here at CTU. We're not trying to buy and hold. We're trying to at least buy and, follow the stock shortly after getting in. Upon a stock breaking such a big level, you're expecting a pretty big move, right? Let's put it that way. So I thought I was on the right track, but when it shook me out here, I didn't want to impulsively jump back in. Well, very shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? once it broke over 250, I was finishing up the call with my student Skip at the time. We were just, going over a couple of things with CTU, and I wanted to jump in, but again, I didn't want to feel like I was chasing it. So very shoulda, coulda, woulda, but this thing ended up making the exact run that I was hoping for from earlier. So little egg on my face there, folks. Not always perfect. We're all human here, but nonetheless, this ended up making a nice run. Can it make a higher high? Can this stock keep going? Well, it's not wrong to think that it can, but otherwise, or it's not wrong to think that it can, I should say, but it's to say, don't hold your breath waiting for it. We've seen a couple of nasty drops on this stock after the initial breakout. So, let's just see what happens here coming up roughly off of 265. Perhaps if it can snap back above 270 and see where it goes from there. All right, we keep it going. Little egg in my face there, but we keep going. GBR, nice pop just a moment ago, shortly prior to 2 p.m. It's making a lower high and consolidating here. So if there is a lot of other stocks that are kind of popping like this, I'd rather kind of just skim through those first and then kind of round up the best after. BORR is a drilling stock, oil drilling stock. Let's just check out a couple of other symbols while we're at it, like OAS. Damn, this thing got really expensive over the last year. Had to have been a split, a reverse split. There's OAS, there's BOR, there's a couple of other oil drilling stocks. I know, we have UNG, which is natural gas fund. That had a nice move up earlier today. Obviously, there's the Uvxy trade, which we were going to get to. Petroleum stock here. I don't know if this is all-time highs. This thing has made a hell of a move, though, over the last, month, right? Last couple of months, really. Yeah, not all-time highs, and in fact, go so far as to say this is at a critical level right now, right around this former support here that we had, roughly off of 57-ish, 56-ish. High of the day today is 56.29. So if you just take a look on the monthly chart, Uvxy is right there. It is right there at a major charting level. So, just be careful with that. But yeah, a little expensive, but how can we not put Uvxy on the main watch list for this afternoon, right? Just right at the highs. Oh yeah, Chuck, that's right. APA is the other one that tails Uvxy. OAS was one that we traded, but the reverse split, so that's out of the range. But yeah, APA kind of goes in coordinates with the Uvxy stock. A little less expensive, but I feel like Oxy's trading way more volume per minute. I'd be more interested in the Uvxy. Mark says USO popped nicely also, so that's an ETF, I believe. Or just another fund, if I'm not mistaken otherwise. UCO, USO, all of those are pushing up pretty nicely here. So yeah, those are ETFs, or even you can go so far as to say ETNs, if I'm not mistaken, to be exact. But nonetheless, the Uvxy stock, Uvxy in general is a stock, and that one will follow in particular. All right, I got stopped out on the one trade I was in, and that was on NEO and IO. That's on the losers list, so we'll jump to that in just a bit. Obviously, market's taken a hit from this morning and made a lower high just before, so I was thinking NEO was going to find some support, which it didn't. I took a -3 just now, which I don't care about, but maybe that could be a nice short now at this point heading into the close. So let's see what else is on the gainer side from this point. Obviously, market's down, so the only ETF we'd be more interested in following would be UVXY because it trades not only a ton of volume, but it's triple leverage, so very volatile. And hey, if you're someone that does well on this normally or more days than not, then this would be a great day for you to follow UVXY, right? A couple of our students, Mark or Johannes, students that I know trade this from coaching sessions. Johannes has killed it today on UVXY from what I hear. Yeah. Oh, we got BTU also. Let me just check out BTU, energy stock, of course, and we've been following that for quite some time. But then, obviously, as the markets have dropped off over the last few days, last week or so, BTU's been on a huge tear, right? Huge tear. So this one kind of put in the same category as an Uvxy type of trade. In this case, just an energy stock at the highs, but a similar pattern, I should say, to that Uvxy. All right, let's hop on over to the losers list. Should have some fun with some side list stocks now that are shortable, dropping off with the market right now. SPY just made the lower high and pulling back here. Let's see what's at least shortable. Got a bunch of stuff hard to borrow to top off the losers list here. Vizio, VZIO. This meeting is currently being projected on Vizio TV. Ended up making a nice drop off from earlier today. Lower high just now, perhaps, with the market. Order book is not too filled in, so don't have a great need to put this on our watch list right now. I don't know what happened to Cannon. I saw Cannon on the top of the gainers list yesterday at some point, throughout the morning, I think it was. But man, ended up having like a ugly close where it closed practically where it had opened up, essentially a doji, probably off by a couple pennies there. But otherwise, today got hammered with the market, dropping back down to 5. I know Cannon's a Bitcoin mining affiliated company. I'll do a little Bitcoin analysis heading into the weekend, folks. Really, it's just a matter of making sure the 40,000 roughly could hold as support. But with that, I'm sure like Riot's down big, Mara's down big, BTBT down big. But I'll do a separate individual, Bitcoin charting technical analysis video, just probably by Sunday, I'd say. All right, there's definitely a lot that's down, folks, because as we near the bottom of the losers list, there's still a ton that's down like 12, 13%. SWBI, Smith & Wesson, I believe, off of bad earnings from yesterday in the after hours, ended up making a nice recovery here today, at least, a little gradual, but took its time and moved up pretty nicely. Not really trading a lot of volume right now, though. All right, let's hop over to the side list stocks. We'll check out like the airlines, like American Airlines at first. That was a nice short from earlier this morning. AAL is at the lows as we speak. UAL obviously too. So I'm just going to lump up the airlines collectively. I'll just say airlines and put them on our watch list. On days like today, that's where we can kind of just lump those up together. I'm sure you could say the same with like the cruise line stocks, right? But for right now, at least, you see the Jets symbol here. That's the airlines ETF. So that's at the lows. So all the airlines are practically at the lows right now. CCL making a similar move. It's not exactly at the low of the day just yet, but it's making a similar pattern. I'll just kind of categorize the airlines collectively for right now. Now, in the meantime, we'll check out NEO. It's dropping off a little bit more from after I got out. I was in from 1873. I was thinking that it could make a higher low and a bounce back up. Doesn't seem like that's going to be the case right now, or at least just not yet. So we'll see where the SPY takes us into the next 30 minutes, I'd say. I was going to say 15, but really 30 minutes, roughly around 3:15 Eastern time. That's when I'll begin to get a lot more serious about, trying to enter trades and follow some stocks into the close. But yeah, NEO could definitely be one of those stocks, at least down 6% nearly right now, at the lows or near the lows right now as well. Yeah, I could do that. Now, here's the thing, though. If I put NEO on our watch list, then do I have to put every other side list stock on our watch list? Hey, SoFi's at the low of the day, too, that's a really liquid stock, though, like almost too liquid. I'm not going to follow SoFi. I don't think this is a good trade. AMC. AMC is kind of at the lows, but AMC is just really choppy here. So very indecisive, it seems like, for right now. Between NEO and AMC, those were personally my money makers across the morning. There was plenty to go around for everyone. I was more focused on AMC and NEO myself. AMC killed it on the short, but right now, I don't know if it's going to be as likely to see it continue to make as steady of a drop as we had from earlier, right? Riot at the lows right now. I'd be more interested in following Riot. I'm going to put Riot on our watch list, actually, with that in mind. Let's see if there's any other stocks, folks. If there's anything else up, down, left, right for me to look at, let me know here in the chat boards, whether it be live inside the trading room or on social media. Have Mitch rejoining us on YouTube. I know that the stream, I think, was down for a couple of days while I was gone. So, Mitch, I'm sure you're happy to join us back. Mitch says, PED, a cheap energy stock. Yeah. Looks good, at least across the afternoon. Pretty spotty earlier today, but definitely a lot more volume got pumped into this trade by 2 o'clock or shortly after. It's an energy stock, he's saying as well. Oh, you know what? I'm reading the chat as we go, so I apologize. Mitch actually wrote, I meant the stock BOR, BORR, as far as the energy stock. Well, yeah, BOR we already looked at, and as we're re-looking at this trade, yeah, we're going to officially put this on our list. I think I had this on the side for right now, right? So we'll put this we'll put this on the main list, just still kind of pushing up for right now, looking strong. All right. So folks, I mean, hey, I'll tell you, I can call the meeting right now. I feel like we have as good of a list as we could find. I say that in terms of the variety of stocks and the number of stocks. I don't want to make too big of a list anyway. So in total, we have 3, 6, 9, 10 different stocks that will be listed on this list here. You have the airlines all together, so that's an extra 4 at least. And then you have Uvxy, which is an ETF. So, folks, I'll tell you what, I think we're going to call it. We have too much on this watch list already. So, for all of us live inside the trading room, you folks know at this point, just try and pick a couple to start. You don't necessarily need to start with the very top 3 or 4 that's going to be on the watch list. Just trade those that are within your skill level, right? Like if you're more of a level 1 trader and I put INDO as the first stock on the watch list, don't automatically trade INDO. It's level 5, right? So, start with the ones that you personally feel most comfortable trading and go from there. That's how we work together as a team inside our live trading room. I might be watching the Neo Trade and Bohr, and Leda might be watching IMPP and 9, and then Chuck might be watching B-Cell and BTU. Chuck will probably be watching Oxy and INTO, knowing him. But otherwise, though, that's how we work together as a team, right? And we try and follow a lot of these trades collectively going into the final hour and 10 minutes from here, folks. All right. So for all of us on Facebook Live, YouTube, great to be back. I appreciate you sticking with me, at least across the first part of this week. I appreciate your patience as the stream was down across the last couple of days. If you have any questions, feel more than free to send on a quick email right on over to josh@ctutrading.com. I always like to post my email here across the YouTube and Facebook streams to close things out. Otherwise, if you wanted to join us inside the Cyber Group room, just join us by going right down to the link on the banner below, the blue banner right there on the bottom of the screen there to get yourself started. But for Chuck, Leda, Kathleen, Mark, Yehuda, Alex, all of us live, otherwise Norman, Michael, I look forward to talking to you folks coming up pretty shortly, right at 3:30. Take care.
Become a Cyber Group member today. Just click the link below and receive all these amazing products and a world of knowledge.